system.
Satellite, radio, freak, come on, man.
Tesla, and he wants to go to outer space. Just like every other billionaire. I need to go to outer space. What's out in outer space?
Oh, y'all trying to go out there?
Hold on. And they never make it. The rocket hits the firmament, and the firmament stops it. Ain't nobody been to the moon. Ain't nobody been outside this giant cage that we're trapped in. The firmament is real. This is why rocket ships take off and they start shooting at an angle. They'll scrape the firmament and they always land in the ocean. Then they shoot some grainy film that they were on the moon. It scraped the surface of the firmament.
The landing is the coming back.
There's no satellites out there either.
Yeah, because they ain't about to be out there floating.
There's no satellites.
You know, rockets, they have so many compartments that break off when you go. So how is the ship same when it lands?
Yeah.
Same as it takes off.
Or even the satellite.
No, there's no satellites. They are hanging satellites in the firmament. This is our GPS system. They screw it into the firmament, and that's the permanent GPS system. They call it space. But the space between Earth and God is called the firmament. And until he opens that up, it's going to be continued. Firmament.
So this is prison planet.
Pretty much. We're his pets. Imagine having hamsters and they wound, let them out, they eat your dog and your cats. You gotta have a cap on it, don't you? It's called the firmament. It's in the Bible. Nothing will get through the firmament.
So is it a shape of a snow globe?
No, flat Earth is real. Right? The world is not round. If it was, I could disprove this many times. But anyway, there's an ice wall around our three-dimensional world called Earth that lays on a two-dimensional plane. Right?
Yeah.
There's an ice wall. This ice wall is connected to other so-called Earths, where dinosaurs live, boom, boom. But we're trapped in the center on this planet in an ice wall. This is why, if you fly from anywhere on Earth to Australia, to Antarctica, why do you always have to fly to England?
Damn.
To make it seem like the world is round, you had to travel that far. From Florida to Antarctica is about four and a half hours on a straight shot. So why you gotta fly from Florida to London and then there? Anywhere you come from, you got to go to London and London and then there.
This is Feature Minor. So another high-profile celebrity has came forward and has announced that the Earth is flat in an interview. And so this latest celebrity is a comedian that goes by the name of Eddie Griffen. And so in this interview, he started talking about flat Earth. It's like when you figure this information out, it's hard to keep that information inside without telling someone, because you realize that you've been lied to and you figure it out yourself, because this is something to where you have to really look into it and figure it out. You can't just do a Google search and, you can't look into it that way, because you're going to find a lot of different types of information that's steered towards the globe. So to figure this stuff out, you really got to do your due diligence and really dive in and find out where you can get the correct information about flat Earth. And then you'll start to realize the lies you were told. It looks like a lot of so-called truthers out there just can't figure this out. They just haven't taken the time and the effort to figure it out because they probably don't understand why it's important, and they don't get it. They just don't get it. They'd rather just stick with their school teachings that the teachers have told them that, oh yeah, this is a globe Earth and you're living on a spinning ball flying through outer space. So yeah, Eddie Griffin, he just really explained a lot about the flat Earth in just a few minutes. And he went into it saying how, well, there's no outer space. There's nothing out there, you know, and that's one of the first things you realize is that, yeah, the whole space thing, it's not what we were told. Planets, and, you know, you look up there and you think these are solid objects that you can land on, but then you start realizing that, yeah, these are just lights in the sky. It's like you got to really figure this stuff out about outer space. It's not what we were told. Yeah, there's stars up there and there's a sun and a moon and wandering stars that they're calling planets, but it's just, there's a lot more to it than just going by what you're thinking is up there. You got to really dive into it and figure this stuff out for yourself. And so Eddie Griffin talked about how rockets curve away from the sky. So this shows us that he's done his research. He sees how they'll try to say, well, that's just stage one of the rocket. And, you know, it separates and then the other part goes into orbit by achieving orbital speed and stuff like that. But no, it's all just a bunch of excuses because the rockets just curve right into the ocean, and that's where they end up. Sometimes they end up by the Bermuda Triangle area. If they launch somewhere else, they'll just, you know, it's usually by ocean. So we're on to them with that whole thing. And so Eddie Griffin also talks about how nothing can get through the firmament, which is facts. You know, I mean, we always see how these rockets, you know, they end up having these issues if they go straight up in the air. If they don't curve away, you'll have the news talking about, oh, something happened to this rocket. It just ended up like a firework in the sky. And I've covered this plenty of times where if the rocket goes straight up without turning, you know, it doesn't make it very far. And I'm guessing it's somewhere around 70 miles up. So that's probably where that first hard barrier is. 70 to 80 miles up there. So that's my estimates. Anyways, Eddie Griffin goes into talk about satellites and how satellites are not what you were told. And there's different hypotheses about how satellites actually work. I've done a lot of research on this in a lot of videos, and I've talked about how the ionosphere will bounce signals back, and there's satelloons, so there's satellites being put up on balloons. Eddie Griffin even went as far as saying something about possible ways where they could maybe launch a satellite and it attaches to the firmament somehow. But check out my satellite playlist and check out all the information I've covered on that subject. So Eddie Griffin goes on to describe how the space between Earth and the firmament is where God dwells. So basically it's like a barrier that prevents people from getting to the heavenly realms above. And yeah, there's discussions I've had on that. In my firmament playlist, you can find where I talk about how the Messiah went through the 7 layers of the firmament to reach Earth, and it describes each layer of the firmament. I'd like to redo that video in a more documentary style format, so I'm going to try to get to that soon. But I've done other videos on the 7 layers of the firmament that are very well done, and I have a lot of information on that stuff as well. So check out my firmament playlist if you get a chance. And so Eddie Griffin goes on to describe how it looks like humanity is almost like God's pets, if you will. And it's an interesting way to put it. I mean, I kind of see where he's going with that. I mean, it's like we're in a, what is it, a terrarium or something? I guess they're calling it, you know, like we are humanity and we're here on Earth and it's like we're being observed. So it's like a test, kind of, I would think. Like life is kind of like some type of a test, or we don't have all the answers yet, but it's a very interesting place indeed. And if we were told what this place was, people would be on their best behavior. And so I think part of this place is to kind of see how people behave normally, you know, because a lot of people don't understand that this place is a place where we're being observed, and there's like a scorecard here. So how we behave and our decisions that we're making, I believe, is being recorded and being considered after you leave here. I'm sure there's some type of life review or something like that. So the way this place is set up, people just kind of behave normally, and if they knew that they were being observed, they probably behave differently. So I think they want to see how people actually behave, being their authentic selves. So Eddie Griffen goes on to conclude his interview talking about how the ice wall, he believes, is connected to other Earths. I like this idea the most. I mean, I've contemplated different theories about the ice wall, and one of my favorites is the multiple Earth circle theories, where I've even suggested a possible like egg carton type theory where you could have different Earth circles. It could be neatly organized or it could be scattered. Also kind of like the layered theory where we talked about the 7 firmaments, and I've hypothesized about a flat firmament above. So you can have stacks of firmaments like a Petri dish or something like that. So I've considered all these different ways to consider what could be beyond the ice wall. Eddie Griffen, he goes on to, like I said, describe that the ice wall is connected to other Earths. So that's a very interesting take for sure. So let me know what you guys think about this Eddie Griffen clip where he's talking about how the Earth is flat, and now we see that he's in Hollywood and stuff. So the word's getting around. I mean, it's a small circle in Hollywood. They hang out with each other. So I'm sure the word's getting around in that circle. It seems like there's a lot of different celebrities that have came forward. And I have a testimony page that covers a lot of the different celebrities. I've covered Tucker Carlson, and even Candace Owen has been talking about some interesting stuff when it comes to the moon and if they went there or not. So that's like one of the first steps to figuring out this stuff. So there's several other celebrities that have came forward and discussed this topic as well. So yeah, I'm going to leave some links in the comment section, description box if you want to do more research on this subject with me. I'm also going to leave links to my other channels, my social media, my Feed Your Mind store, my free email newsletters, and much more. If you would like to support this channel, please donate as little as $1 to help keep this channel online. I have some giveaways in the comment section and description box. And also, if you would like to be involved in maybe running one of my extra channels, let me know. I have some information in the comment section. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. This has been Feed Your Mind signing off.